Do you love guns? Hi, Gene Kelly here, and I've always been passionate about firearms. I started gunsmithing and went to gunsmithing school when I was just 18. I've been a professional gunsmith for over 40 years now, and I'm a licensed Class II manufacturer. I've been teaching gunsmithing since 1993. Now, we started the Gunsmithing Club of America 15 years ago to create a place where people who shared our passion, both professionals and hobbyists, could find reliable, trusted information on real-world gunsmithing. We wanted to provide a place where our instructors could continuously teach our members, where both hobbyists and professional gunsmiths could share their experience and learn from each other. It's to be a trusted community with reliable information. We knew that it would be an extremely powerful resource and tool to preserve our gunsmithing knowledge, provide our members with an enjoyable experience, and as a place that actually protects our firearms freedoms by keeping our guns functioning properly. As a member of the GCA, you'll have access to over 400 hours of gunsmithing instruction and techniques on video, all by qualified instructors who are masters in the field. You will receive our monthly Gun Tech video magazine and print magazine. Plus, the GCA members' website contains almost 200 extremely detailed firearm disassembly and reassembly video courses, hundreds of product reviews, firearms evaluations, and industry interviews. The Gunsmithing Club of America is a one-of-a-kind organization. There's no other club or group specifically dedicated to the art, craft, and profession of gunsmithing. As a hobbyist or a professional, you'll find that this is your source for the knowledge you need. So feed your passion about guns and gunsmithing by being a member in a community of like-minded individuals. If this sounds like you, join us today.
Most of us use shock buffs in things like our ARs, AKs, and 1911s, mainly to keep the frames from cracking and to soften that recoil impulse a little bit. But I haven't seen too many for Glocks. Well, Strike Industries has a set of buffers here for Glocks, and they come in two colors, black, or as they call them, smoke, and red. You say, well, how nice is that? I guess the red matches my eyes, and the black's for my heart. Or it could be that the black is softer, they tell us, than the red one. So you can try each one and see which one you like best. They go in exactly where you would expect them to go in. And I happen to have one in Mislin A's Glock. These are only for Gen 1, 2, and 3 Glocks. But you can see where it sits right here on top, and the little legs lock down inside the front of the slide there so they don't go anywhere, and it keeps it in line. I will tell you that if nothing else, when you're racking the slide back and forth and letting it close up, it does feel a little less energetic, which is kind of cool. Push that down there. And when you actually shoot the gun, it does seem to be a little less clacky when it hits the back. So you can hear it's not going clack, clack like they normally do. All right, these set me back a grand total of $9 for the pair of them, and that was from Wing Tactical. So get a pair and see if they work for you. At the NRA convention in 2016, we took a look at an item by Trigger Tech. This is supposed to be the greatest new trigger technology since sliced bread. Well, it's a unitized AR trigger, just like a whole lot of other ones, with one major exception. Now, this is not new. I've seen this system before a number of years ago. I cannot remember exactly where it was. What we have here is between the trigger and the sear is, instead of having a sliding surface here, a surface here that slides on this surface, which is going to give you some creep and all those other bad things. You have a roller, okay, a very hard frictionless roller. Okay, well, that has some possibilities. Now let's take a look at what they have shown. Put this aside here. Now, this is a standard two-stage AR trigger, okay? And you'll see that this is where it takes up, and there's your long first stage here, and this is the distance that that trigger is actually traveling. This is where it hits the second stage and starts to take up, okay, or starts the trigger pull. And you can see it's not a straight line here, and this area is the creep. And then boom, it breaks and drops off, and it goes well over here, over travel, before you reset. So the reset distance is a long way. Well, let's take a look at this one here. Here's your take up, your first stage, much shorter, okay? And then here's your wall as you start the actual second stage of the trigger pull. And look at this, there's no creep here. It just goes up and drops down. And here's your over travel. So your reset length here is only 30 thousandths of an inch. And the over travel is practically nil. Well, that's pretty amazing. And here, if you look at the pull weights, it starts at a half pound and then goes up. That first stage is only 1 pound. And then in this particular one, you've got another 1.25 pounds on the second stage before it drops off. Here you start at a half pound. Your take up goes up to 2 pounds, and the first stage is from just over 2 pounds to almost 2.5 pounds. And then we go up about another pound before it drops off. So not particularly exciting there. Now let's take a look at a comparison here of traces, trigger traces from a number of triggers. Now, here's one when they're all starting off roughly 3/4 pound, okay? Now, here's the trigger tech right here. Boom, very low, doesn't change. Boom, comes up, drops off, finishes off, and comes back, very short. Take a look at this one here. It comes up a long way. It goes from about 3/4 pound, the take up, it goes all the way up to a little over 3.5 pounds here. And then can we say negative trigger engagement? Look at this. It keeps going down, 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 and look at all that creep and moving around before it finally drops off. That's a long way to travel. And, you know, then it finishes fooling around here. Now you've got these others, and they all come up. Most of them are, you know, roughly positive here in their final let off. But still, look how much farther they travel. Look at all of the jaggly lines. That's grit and creep, okay? So that's not good stuff. All right, well, that sounds like a whole lot of great stuff, but is this the truth? Now, this is their most expensive model. It's $220, and this is the adjustable trigger. It adjusts from about 2 pounds or so, if I recall correctly, 2.5 to 5 pounds, okay? So let's put it here in our hyper trainer and measure the pulls and see what we actually get. Well, we've got it installed, and let's try it here. Let's see the reset here. That's it. Let me see if I can do this from the backside so you can see this. I'll hold the trigger down here. Okay, now watch this reset. Right there. That's the reset, and you can feel it. So that's going to be a pretty fast trigger. Now, I don't know what this is out of the box because we haven't adjusted it yet, but let's take a look here and see. See if I can avoid banging myself with this. Okay, out of the box it says 3 pounds, 12 ounces. All right, now how do we adjust this? Well, first of all, when we installed it, you put it in, you put the pins through, And then in the top here, you'll see it says snug on both sides. Take the smallest Allen wrench they give you and tighten those screws down tight. That takes all the rock out of the unit, okay? Now, if you're putting this in a regular gun where you're going to have the safety in it, put the safety in first before you tighten those screws. Otherwise, you're going to lift the back end up and you're not going to be able to get the safety in. Trust me, I've done this in the past, and we talked about it several years ago when we first installed a Timney AR trigger in one. But anyway, so that's the deal. Now, if you look right here, the center screw says pull adjust. Counterclockwise is minus and clockwise is plus. So let's minus this and see what we get down to. All right, well, let's see what we get to there. Two pounds, roughly 14 ounces, so a tick under 3 there. Two pounds, 13 ounces again. Well, that's pretty steady. Let's go ahead and tighten that up and see what we come up with here for the max. All right, I think that's about it. That's certainly stiffer. £5, 1.5 ounces. I think they've hit this thing pretty much right on the head. So they said 2.5 to 5. This is an ounce or so over 5. It was an ounce or so shy of 2.5, but that may have come out farther. I just didn't want to launch springs on camera. So, but in any event, that's pretty amazing. And I think that even at 5 pounds here, hey, Mr. Camera Guy, that's 5 pounds. What do you think? Excuse me, Mr. Executive Producer.
Feels like 5 pounds to me, but no creep.
No creep, no grit, no take up. And let's out of curiosity, I wonder if the reset is the same. So I got the trigger pulled. Okay, let's see. A little bit longer on the reset on the 5 pounds, but wow, that's a pretty amazing trigger. And for $2.20 or 220 bucks, it seems like a heck of a deal. Now, I don't know how long it's going to hold up, but we'll put it in our guns and we'll shoot them for a while and see what happens. If anything comes along to change our opinion, we'll bring it to you right away. So there you are with your kids, your wife, your buddies at the GSSF match, right? And what does everybody have at a GSSF match? Well, they got Glock magazines. They got lots of Glock magazines. And how do you tell one Glock magazine from another? Well, you don't. They all look alike. So I don't know about you, but I have definitely been there before where I picked one up and the guy says, hey, that's mine. And I'm looking at that. And I don't know whether it is or it isn't. Okay, we have a solution for you. It's from Tango Down. and is the Vickers Tactical Glock floor plate. By the way, they also make these for Smith M&Ps. They come in these various colors: blue, brown, gray, and orange. And the other thing that they are is, if we look here on the back side, we'll see it's significantly wider than a Glock base plate. Here's a stock Glock base plate from side to side, which sometimes if the magazine gets stuck, it's a little tough to get out. If I turn this over, you'll see how much wider it is, and you'll see those thumb and finger cutouts to yank it out of there. So I don't know, how tough is this to get it off? Well, let's see. If we take our really great Glock mag popper tool from NC Star, which will set you back about 12 bucks, like that. Okay, and we give it a pop, boink. How easy was that? Let's take that out. For those of you that have been doing this with pliers and trying to grip them and pry them off and all that other stuff, that's how easy it comes off. And we'll slide the new one right on there. If I can do that without launching anything. And we did. That's it. It's on. So there you go. That'll set you back about $4.25 each. A pack of 5 is $21 from Tango down. Shipping is minimal. And, you know, the aluminum base plates you can buy for these are really nice. But they bend and scratch, and these don't do either. And they're a heck of a lot cheaper. So I don't see the reason for the aluminum plates other than, well, I guess it may increase your cool factor. Now, finish off, we pick up our tool from NC Star and use the other end there to go open a cold one. It's not a surprise to anybody, I'm sure, but I get lots of emails touting lots of products. Coincide that with Miss Lene, who is getting the itch to custom modify her Glock and do some shoey barking and texturing on the grip and the rest of that, and needed to practice. And my need for her to practice was something other than a $300 serial numbered frame. And I get ads for hex mags, which were new. And the price was right. And these were from JSE Surplus, and it was only $8.75. Well, you notice that they have all of these little hexagons molded into them here. And I thought, well, for $8.75 and they're polymer, that would be something good for Lene to take her soldering iron with the different tips and try different patterns working around inside those hexagons. Well, as long as I had them, of course, and they are magazines, and I do have ARs, thought I'd go out and shoot them. So I shot them quite a bit. I mean, didn't run 10,000 rounds through 50 magazines, so I can't swear to it. But I didn't have any failures to feed at all. They worked perfectly. They come in, the colors that I know of are the tan, the black, and a gray one, which I also have, but not here. And the other thing they come in is a number of different colors of followers, and the plug here at the bottom, which would show up in your mag pouches, I suppose. So if you want to have different loads, different calibers on the same AR case, whatever it happened to be, you can get these with those different colors. So you can tell at a glance. You don't have to, you know, slide them out and check and read the base of the case. So a heck of a deal. JSE Surplus and $8.75 hex mags.
Do you love guns? Hi, Gene Kelly here, and I've always been passionate about firearms. I started gunsmithing and went to gunsmithing school when I was just 18. I've been a professional gunsmith for over 40 years now, and I'm a licensed Class II manufacturer. I've been teaching gunsmithing since 1993. Now, we started the Gunsmithing Club of America 15 years ago to create a place where people who shared our passion, both professionals and hobbyists, could find reliable, trusted information on real-world gunsmithing. We wanted to provide a place where our instructors could continuously teach our members, where both hobbyists and professional gunsmiths could share their experience and learn from each other. It's to be a trusted community with reliable information. We knew that it would be an extremely powerful resource and tool to preserve our gunsmithing knowledge, provide our members with an enjoyable experience, and as a place that actually protects our firearms freedoms by keeping our guns functioning properly. As a member of the GCA, you'll have access to over 400 hours of gunsmithing instruction and techniques on video, all by qualified instructors who are masters in the field. You will receive our monthly Gun Tech video magazine and print magazine. Plus, the GCA members' website contains almost 200 extremely detailed firearm disassembly and reassembly video courses, hundreds of product reviews, firearms evaluations, and industry interviews. The Gunsmithing Club of America is a one-of-a-kind organization. There's no other club or group specifically dedicated to the art, craft, and profession of gunsmithing. As a hobbyist or professional, you'll find that this is your source for the knowledge you need. So feed your passion about guns and gunsmithing by being a member in a community of like-minded individuals. If this sounds like you, join us today.